Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second uh, and the best until now, the episode of the Road to ECS with Mustafa, Valdek, myself, and today we've got Laurie Pottmeyer as our guest. Hey, Laurie.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being with us. So, Valdek, what have you been doing for the past 2 weeks since we didn't see each other here?
Um, it starts with an A, ends with an I.
Aviation? Oh,
Yes, aviation. No, AI. AI.
yeah,
Focus on AI. Right. So it's a big part of our work. And like the interesting part is like we're going to the part of the year where we get to breathe a little bit more. Like a few weeks back, we had this very big event of which you might have heard. Right. So that thing is done. And now it kind of gives us room to think ahead, right? And think some more about like what is it that we want to do in the coming months. So I've been involved with that.
Nice. So you're telling me that Microsoft has got some AI products?
A few.
A few. Good. Nice to hear.
First time I hear
Mustafa,
any of this.
what were your past 2 weeks, except of working with me on daily basis, which makes you totally happy, I know.
Yeah, unfortunately, but okay. Yeah, but running to different events, we've been very busy on multiple things. Like from run event perspective, it was like culmination of the year, having 8 events in very short time, and I was part of 2 of them. Just got back from Belgrade, where we had a really big event as well. That went really well. About those some kind of products about from Microsoft on AI something.
It starts with A and finishes with I, aviation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I sense a
It doesn't
theme.
end with an I.
The Vescu in our last show, Laurie, Vescu started calling it computer intelligence. It was driving Lee nuts.
Yeah, but Valdek made him do it. He made
Yes.
a challenge that no one can say artificial intelligence, and then they started
AI.
naming.
Yes. We were not allowed to say AI the whole show.
So Vesco was calling it computer intelligence. That was driving Lee totally nuts, like through the whole show. That was so much. So, dear people, Laurie Pottmeyer, I don't know where even to start. She first came to Wiesbaden in 2019 for the ECS 2019. And yeah, she rocked the stage as she always does. I actually first got properly to talk to you on that boat cruise we had after the event. This is where I first time properly actually sat down with you and we had a real conversation and everything. Well, the result of that is that whenever we announce dates for the next event, one of the first people we just pick up the teams and call Laurie. So it worked all the time until now. She was supposed to be with us 2020, but we all know we are not talking about 2020. We had an online event that year, and we asked Laurie to keynote it, what she did. She was with us in that a bit less dreadful 2021, where it felt like a half of the ghost show, where only half people turned out in 2021. And the last year in 2023, Laurie was again doing the main coordinate. I would say doing and delivering and coordinating the main keynote for us, because it was a panel, if you all remember well. So Laurie is a speaker, legend, family member, a friend, call it however you want. And unfortunately, I need to say she's not going to join us the next year because of the private reasons on her side. But still, Laurie is one of the first people whom we wanted to invite to this podcast to talk to. Laurie.
Oh, God, I know that last part. I have FOMO already thinking
It's all
about
good.
not being there. But, the show will go on. And I'm so thrilled to be a part of the event every year. In 2019, that first year that I attended, that was one of the first community events that I had attended and really been a part of, let alone having a role like I did. And I will tell you, I walked away just speechless. It was amazing. But really getting on that stage and looking out there that first year, I was like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? This is really scary. And, it was one of the most welcoming, just awesome experiences. Everybody was so kind and so welcoming and just really excited to be there themselves. And I think, that just energy really made me feel good about being there. And it's one event that I definitely don't ever want to miss. So thank you for inviting me that first year. You took a gamble.
Nah, that is good.
Yeah.
Even but a lot of people don't know. Laurie was really not only, it wasn't only like first time from her ECS. She had a really, really bad AI. Remember that?
No,
later
like
I was-
bringing up the happy memories, right?
Yeah, this was-
That was one of the best memories, actually. I got to experience the German healthcare system, which, and not speaking the language. I mean, it was planes, trains, and automobiles getting around that city trying to get that eye fixed. And oh my gosh, everybody was so kind and trying to help me, and, found a wonderful doctor. So if anybody has eye issues in Wiesbaden, we've got a guy. So
You know what place?
But Valdek, have you noticed that she didn't? She also called the event the event.
Yeah.
She
So
didn't
I
say
was
the
just
actual-
about to ask that
becoming-
because like
becoming a thing here. It's
you
becoming a thing.
said a few things about your first experience being on a stage, being like, kind of like the moment where you are on a stage, all eyes on you, like 2,000 pair of eyes looking at you, and you're like, oh my god, oh my god. What makes it different? Because like you are embedded in community across the world. You are attending events, organizing events, running community. You are used to engaging with folks. How is that standing apart from everything else that you do?
being on that stage, do you mean?
Being on the stage, but also ECS itself, like that event, because you said that you had really great experience from the very start to the throughout the years as we're involved in it.
Yeah, I mean, Addis mentioned family, right? I mean, calling me family, like that is the feeling that I got when I walked in to that event. Just everybody was, and it wasn't a thing where everybody knew each other and I was the new person. It didn't feel like that. It just felt like, yay, you're here, and got scooped up and part of it. And I think it's the same for the attendees. You walk into the hub or, where all the sponsor booths are and the smaller stages, and there's so much energy in there, and people are just like walking around, collaborating, getting to know each other, and it just feels so happy in there. It's like this vibe. It's not a place you have to be in, like, oh, I should go around and talk to the sponsors. It's like just a place you want to be, and it just feels good. Yeah, so and with 2,000 people, it's interesting because you would think, if there was an event that was 250 people, it would be more like that, right? Because it's smaller and more intimate. You kind of know everybody, but it doesn't matter where you are at ECS. You walk around and you see a face that you recognize, and it may be not somebody that you've met in person or sat down, had a coffee or a beer with, but it's somebody that you know from online, and they're approachable, or they recognize you, and you're able to just, hang out and have a conversation. It just feels good. It just feels good. It's positive. Yeah.
Would it be fair to say that you build communities for living at Microsoft? Is it kind of like the fair, high level depiction of your work?
Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, I feel like I'm like the connector. Actually, that little AI tool that we've heard about. There's a prompt that you can put in there, and it's kind of a long prompt, so ask me later if you want it. But it basically takes your emails and your in your chats, and then based on what it knows about you, it will create a description of you and kind of give you your little rundown bio. And it has described me as the connector, and I'm like, wow, that's actually really smart. So, and anyway, that's just kind of a fun prompt to do, but I do feel like that is my role, right? So building community, yeah, absolutely. Started with Microsoft Teams. I'm actually Skype for Business doing community type work. Was the first person to do the Microsoft Tech Community, our virtual community for Skype for Business, and that quickly turned into, hey, guess what? You're going to start working on Teams now. It's this new little product. So moved over there, started doing the tech community for that. And somebody asked me who the point person was in Microsoft Teams for the MVPs. And I was like, who, what? I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll figure it out. And that led to, hey, guess what? It's you. You're the one that's going to work with MVPs.
You just volunteered for the job.
Yeah, and it's worked out, that's worked out, and I've really enjoyed it. And so, based on my work with the MVP program for Microsoft Teams, I started doing more and more community type work because I wanted to be out in the community where our MVPs were and to get to know more people that were potential MVPs. And so the community events were a great opportunity for me to connect with those people and get to know new people in different regions of the world. So I started doing that. And then over the last year and a half, I've transitioned into more Microsoft 365. So looking at community from all up M365 perspective and working with the individual product leads across our products, of which there's, well over 20 under M365, working with each of those individual product leads to make sure that we have a robust and consistent MVP program. So still doing all the community stuff, love being out there, getting to know who everybody is in this tech community, which I knew nothing about really until ECS. That was really my introduction of, attending this event and being like, whoa, okay, I hear the word community, but I was thinking like little user groups here and there, of 10 to 20 people. I had no idea that there was like this massive opportunity to see people all in one spot from all these little communities coming together. So that's pretty cool.
Another thing, and I wanted about it, like as you got exposed, like from Skype for Business, Teams, MVPs, M365, all up, and also ECS. If you look at these groups, like, do you see the same spirit and the same welcoming atmosphere across the board everywhere? So, like, is it a Microsoft Cloud thing where we're really like, no matter which group you interact with, people are really, that friendly, welcoming, and warm? Or is it like, well, some groups are more than another? And is there a secret ingredient that that you've learned over the years? It's like, you got to do that.
This, before Laurie answers, this would be the right time to quote Jeff, the best community in tech.
Well, I was going to lead off that, Addis. You're right. Yeah. So Jeff always likes to say that we have the best community in tech, right? And I think that stemmed from his SharePoint days and, has kind of come along with him. And, I think from Microsoft, it is really nice that our leadership has that belief that community is so important, right? And so just hearing Jeff say those words, kind of that sets the tone for what our teams do. We at Microsoft, we're very customer driven, right? And part of being customer driven is not just listening to our customers who spend a ton of money, but it's getting out there and hearing what the world is really saying about our products. And going to events like ECS is really important. It's a really great opportunity for us to be able to see those people face to face and have conversations that are much more meaningful than perhaps looking at, an email that somebody wrote in or, a blurb on a feedback portal or something like that, which of course that is all important also, but having face-to-face conversations with people and really getting to understand their pain points, their challenges, and also their successes in a lot of detail through a real conversation really adds color to the themes that we're hearing from those other pipelines. So it's a great opportunity. I love when I can bring along people who are new to community. Addis, SUNY, like that is a great example of, a PM that we brought in who had, no idea again of what community is, came from the calling, meeting, and devices team on Microsoft Teams, and was like, yeah, I'll go to this event. I'll speak, I'll do a session. And has been actually, she messaged me this week on Facebook or something and said, something personal and was like, hey, let's go to ECS this year. And she's a PM that's actually working on our products. And so, I think it's just shows that, through that experience for the PMs who are actually doing the work on our products, it's a very meaningful. And again, she felt super welcome to be there too. It's not a scary thing being there in front of our customers.
Mental note for myself, pink Suni tomorrow.
Please do. Yes, please do.
Mental note for myself. She's awesome. She's beyond awesome.
Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, Minnie Mouse. So this just for Suni. I'm just doing this for her. I wasn't prepared for this, but I'm just doing it for her.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
There we go.
I have no idea what it's about, but that picture is burned in my brain forever now.
You may never see that again, Walnut.
No, but I'm just going to follow what you just said. Before this meeting, I had a business meeting with our Swedish MVP colleague Rebecca Isaacson. She's new MVP since recently. She's now your MVP, if you want. And Rebecca is doing, and she tells me she loves it. She will also be here in Düsseldorf, but she loves doing collab days, those small events.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on those small events, Laurie? So events like 200, 300 people, but which are local, which happen in Netherlands, in Belgium, in Switzerland, in England, or which are not like one big European or North American event, but like more local, multiple local events.
People always ask me, how do I become an MVP? And, there's no, that's a whole nother 30-minute conversation or more that we can have.
We'll have you back.
Yes. However, I will tell you that one of the things that I say is, one of the very first thing you should do is see what's happening regionally, like what is in your backyard or, within a 1-hour car or train ride, where you can go and meet up with other people who are interested in the same topics, the same technologies that you are, because those are going to be your people. Whether you are considering yourself a speaker or not, that's a great place for you to get to know people. And I think, for people that haven't ever done speaking who want to or interested in someday doing something like ECS, a really great way to get your foot in the door is by going to these user groups. And there's a lot that are virtual too. Even if there's not one currently in your region, you can do one virtually. But that's a really a great opportunity for you to get your foot in the door by speaking and sharing your knowledge. A lot of people say, oh, I'm not a speaker. That's fine. Some people aren't. But I don't take the reason being that I don't have anything to share with people, because I'm telling you what, every single person has something to share. If first of all, nobody is an expert in the AI, right? Copilot is so new. We're all at the same level right now, so by thinking about, oh, I have nothing that I need to share. Like even if you share something that Waldeck shared last week, you're going to have a different perspective, a different way of telling that. And you have personal stories from your own customers and the experiences that you have. And that is knowledge that other people will find interesting. So, I would say if you have the opportunity to go to something like Collab Days, definitely go. If you are interested in all in submit, because the more experience you get at those smaller events, smaller venues, first of all, you're widening your own local community, but you're also getting that experience of talking in front of a large group. And that's going to help you be more comfortable when you get to ECS. And then you don't get on the stage like I did in front of 2,000 people.
And you did
I walked into that room. I was like, Alice, are you trying to give me a heart attack? Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Even with all of that.
Yeah, well, it's, nothing like just jumping in with both feet. But a really great advice is to start small and go
exactly.
To
and maybe additionally team up. Ask for help. Ask somebody else. Don't be alone. You don't need to be alone on stage. Ask others.
Absolutely. My favorite, like I just mentioned last year, we did the panel. I love that because it's different voices, it's different perspectives, it's different areas of expertise. Also, if you know people who are seasoned presenters, don't be afraid to ask them, like, hey, next time you do a session, let me know. I'd love to help be your demo buddy, or help you do Q&A, or present the last couple of slides, or, introduce you, right? Any experience that you can get tag teaming with somebody, that adds interest to sessions. People, 60 minutes or 45 minutes or even 30 minutes sometimes of one person talking is like, I have ADHD, so like I zone out. But when it's multiple people, it keeps it interesting, right? So I would say, don't be afraid to go and ask people who are speakers, and just put it out there, because oftentimes those speakers are like, oh, thank God, yes, I would love to have a little bit of help and have somebody to kind of share the banter with.
Totally. If anything else, I want. So
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm listening this talk about the community and everything, and all three of you are coming from, like, I met you through Microsoft 365 community, but coming from a little bit different background than you. I've been going to events, being part of different communities for a very long time, and then Adis some years ago introduced me to this community for the first time. And I must say, it's a little bit different than the others. Sure, there are some elements that are commonly shared among them, but definitely this pleasant welcome for everyone, like this family feel, is very specific to Microsoft 365 community. And I need to, like,
that really is true.
that is, so I see, like, Laurie was a big part of building that community for quite some time now. But I'm also interested in one project that you had in there. And can you tell us a little bit more about the inception and the impact of women in teams?
Yeah, Women in Teams was organization. It was something that I built, and the community is still running it. Big thank you to people like Sharon Weaver, who are keeping that community alive. Now that I'm not on the Teams team, I'm still involved, but the community really is driving it, which is what it really was meant to be. But the reason why I felt it was important to create Women in Teams was because I wanted a place where anyone, not just women, anyone could come and just feel welcome and ask the stupid questions that we all know aren't stupid questions, because we all have the same questions. But sometimes it's hard to ask in an environment where there's mixed company, or people that you assume are a lot smarter than you or have a lot more experience than you. I also wanted to find a way to get women at Microsoft employees who were working on the Microsoft Teams product visibility. So getting them to come and talk with women across the community and share with them, hey, this is, I'm Laurie and I am a woman and this is what I do at Microsoft, and show the success that they're all having, and sometimes some of the challenges that they're having, to show that, hey, it's not just you who works in another part of the world at a small company. It's also women who are working at Microsoft. We have a lot of the same challenges. And so that's a great opportunity for us to get to know women across the world who are part of the community or who haven't been, and welcome them into the community. I have seen a lot of people that came through Women in Teams who are now MVPs, actually, because they kind of had somebody to mentor them along the way and say, hey, you should speak. Right? You should write, you should start a blog. You have the knowledge, get out there. And sometimes, it's hard for women to kind of raise their hand, and not all. And I know it is hard for some men also. So don't want to generalize, but, traditionally it's a little bit more of a challenge for women to raise their hand and say, yeah, I should be an MVP. Absolutely. Or I should be a speaker on the stage in front of 2,000 people like that. We have a hard time raising our hand for that. So having a community where it's a lot of like-minded women or men who are very supportive of women in their own communities, just kind of hearing them understanding the challenges or offering advice based on their experiences has been really useful. And it's fun to see a lot of those people really thriving now and going to different events and seeing the faces that I've seen virtually in our calls now really being active in the community. It kind of has served as almost an invite to do that.
No, it's good, but a lot of people don't realize that back in the 70s, the majority of the people in IT were women. Something happened during the 80s and the early 90s which flipped that. And I mean, I know that from reading, but I also know it as a trivia fact because my dad was in IT, and I, as a kid, I was sometimes visiting and work, and most of the people working with him were women. So where did we lose that, and how did we lose that part? I mean, this is a totally different discussion, definitely not for this, but this is why I think it's really important to actually have this conversation and have this initiatives like Women in Tech, Women in Teams, and all the similar initiatives which we do have around.
I think events like ECS are a really great way to bring women or young women even who are maybe interested in technology but don't think that technology is any fun, or that they'll have support along the way. I don't want to sit behind a desk in the dark and code, right? I mean, that's like an old kind of visual we have of people who are in tech. And I think by seeing people at events like ECS and the collaboration that takes place, the fun that takes place, the shared knowledge people are willing to talk with others about, I mean, that's a really good way to bring females in. I always like to try to bring young women along with me. You know I've done it at ECS where I'll bring people with me and just say, this is a community, and introduce them to people. So again, if you are a speaker, if you are going to big events, be thinking about people that you can bring along with you that don't look like you, that don't have the experience that you have, and offer to have them be a co-speaker or help you out or introduce them to people in the community that maybe they can use as mentors as well.
Cool. We said we are going to keep this at 20 minutes, but the joke.
We all knew that was a lie. We all knew that was a lie.
It's good to have goals, Addis. It's good to have goals.
Aspirational. It's aspirational.
Aspiration. It's always good to have, but we can't have Viva goals anymore, but we can have goals.
Oh boy.
This is an internal joke.
Yeah.
Microsoft canceling another product. Did I just say this? I'm sorry, I did.
Yes.
I just did. No, all good. Laurie, thank you. This was awesome.
Yeah.
See you around. Maybe
see you around. I will see you around. I would, if anybody is on the fence about going to ECS, I would say do it. You won't be disappointed. We've talked a lot about community, but ultimately, you're there to learn and a lot of and share. And the sessions are awesome. There's too much content, right? People are like, oh, there's not enough content, or there's too much content. Like, there's so much content. You got to pick and choose and be strategic about what you're going to go and listen to. But gosh, that's a good problem to have. So I would say take advantage of the time that you're there. Go and talk to the speakers afterwards. Go up to them. They're making themselves available at the sessions. They're in the big community hub, different times. The speakers who are there want to talk with the attendees. So
yes,
take advantage of that. That's a great part of
you know what's Mustafa doing? He's not putting anything in the speaker room except of water. So he basically doesn't want speakers to be in the speaker room. He wants them to be down to mingle with the people.
That's true. I don't give them anything.
Bread
and water in the speaker room.
Bread and water for
the speakers in the speaker room.
That's very smart. Very smart. Yeah. But ultimately people want to be there. It's not like they want to hide out. They just get comfortable on their computers in the speaker room. But when they're on the floor, they want to talk to people. And I think that's pretty awesome. So.
Can you do me just one last favor, all three of you, just in order to troll Lee? Can you just, everybody says just two words, computer intelligence. I just started, computer intelligence. Now you, Waldek.
Computer intelligence.
Laurie.
computer intelligence.
Mustafa.
Computer intelligence.
Lee, this was just for you. So thanks everyone. This was awesome. Talk to you, Laurie. See you hopefully soon enough summer. And probably we are not going to do another one in this year because Christmas holidays are coming now, New Year's Day. So, but early January you can expect us with another awesome guest and another really serious conversation as we have now.
Yes, obviously, right? Because all roads lead to ECS.
I like
All
it.
roads lead to ECS. Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Happy holidays, everyone. Thanks
Happy
for having me.
holidays.
Bye.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.